What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. Now, I originally was going to take this weekend off of picking. I have a ton of inventory that I need to get taken pictures of and get up and listed on eBay. There was a couple garage sales that I saw that were gonna be in my area, and I was gonna hit those instead, but it's Friday morning, 6:30 in the morning, and I just had a good feeling about Kobe's swap meet. So let's get over there, see what we can find. Hello. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome back.
Welcome back, everyone. It's been quite a while since I've done one of these videos. I wanted to voice over what I was looking through this day at Kobe's swap meet because I didn't find a whole lot. This vendor always has a ton of items. As you can see, there's an assortment of different items, so I always have to go check it out. Sometimes he has some good stuff, sometimes he doesn't really have much. Unfortunately, this day there wasn't anything. I really was just reaching for anything that I could find this day just to make my trip down to the swap meet worth it. I ended up finding this Star Wars lightsaber. Unfortunately, I didn't have any change. I just showed up with all 20s, and it was really early in the morning, so nobody had any change. So I didn't end up purchasing this lightsaber. I told her I was going to go back for it, but just ended up thinking about it and deciding that I didn't really need it. This is another vendor that I go to all the time. As you can see down at the bottom, there is a couple bags of golf clubs. I can usually tell just by looking at them really quickly if they are worth anything or not. Unfortunately, these weren't, so I decided to leave. I then came across this vendor who had a boxed Atari. If you're familiar with video games, Ataris are one of the first models of a video game. Unfortunately, this wasn't an original. This was one of the newer, I'm not going to say refurbished, but it was one of the newer style ones. The guy wanted, I think, $25 for this, so I had to turn away real quick and look on eBay, and that's just how much they were going for, so I decided to skip on that too. I then came across this Nike driver. I really wanted this because Nike no longer makes equipment. They only make apparel, so you aren't able to buy this Nike driver in store. This vendor wanted $90 for this one, and it really isn't worth that price. Plus, it doesn't leave me any room to make a profit. So I was trying to get him down to about 20 bucks, which is what I was willing to pay, and he wouldn't budge, so I had to leave that as well. These vendors always have items where you can get 2 for $5, so I decided to check out this table. I'm really trying to get a new assortment of items because there's a ton of things that sell, and I feel like I'm really missing certain markets. So I was looking at belts, I was looking at hats. This Nike belt I really liked, but it wasn't really going to fetch a high enough profit. I then came over to this vendor because I saw some playing cards. There's some Pokemon ones as well as some Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh! And the Pokemon ones were no good, so I had to leave those as well. This guy always has tables full of stuff. I saw some more cards. Like I said, I was just trying to reach for anything this day that I could make a profit off of. There are some baseball cards, couple football cards, and then as you can see, there's just a ton of other items, and I struck out yet again. I then came over to this vendor because they had a ton of books and a lot of children's books, which actually sell pretty well for me recently. As you can see here, there are quite a few Dr. Seuss. I have quite the collection of Dr. Seuss books right now, but these were really in good condition. So I decided to look through them, and unfortunately there wasn't anything that I could make a profit off of. I feel like it would just be way too much work for the return that I was going to get. So moving on to another vendor, I actually decided to stop here because I actually recorded this episode back in August, so it was well before Halloween. What I like to do though is get a jump on the holidays, especially when it's Christmas time. People look for gifts and decorations, so you definitely want to make sure that you are stocked up on everything. So just like Halloween, I decided to, grab a couple things that I can just use as decorations, not to sell. I then came across this vendor who had this awesome Steelers mini helmet. As all of you know, I am a Steelers fan, so I wanted this thing for sure. There was a price on top, but I didn't know if that was his asking price or if he had bought in this and the price had just come on it. He wanted $10 for this thing, but it was a little bit dusty and not in the greatest condition, so I asked if he would take $5. He quickly said no, because obviously it's worth quite a bit more than that. So I decided to walk away. Looking back at it, I wish I would have purchased it. I then came over to another vendor. As you can see, there are a ton of cards. I really don't know much about baseball and football cards, but figured I would flip through these just to see if there were anything that stood out to me. Finally, as a last resort, I decided to come back to this vendor that I saw earlier in the day. He had pulled out a couple new golf clubs, one set being this set of TaylorMade M6s, which are a pretty newer style of club. Unfortunately, I've never seen these ones before, so I decided to pass on him. Plus, he wanted quite a bit of money for him. He wanted over $400, which there was going to be no room left to make a profit. If I was going to use them, those would be a good price, but not to turn a profit. I then started talking to him about these Ping Zing black dots. Now, these clubs are extremely popular. A lot of people like buying the Pings or the Ping Zings or the Ping Eyes. What you want to make sure to look for is the coloring on the back. If you see these Ping clubs and they have a black dot either in the middle of the back of the club or in the bottom right hand corner, buy them because they sell for a ton. The blue dots are also very popular. So I ended up buying this black dot set from him. I think it came with 6 or 7 clubs. I got them for $40, and I ended up selling the entire set for $115. So I ended up making a little bit that day. Obviously, I did not get as much as I would like, but that's why I always go to Kobe's at least once during the week, because you never know what you'll find. So I've done a video like this before just to show you all what goes through my mind while I am picking through these swap meets. I hope that this gives you a little bit of insider information as to why I pick the things that I do and why I pass on other things. Normally, I can just look at something now and see whether or not it's going to be profitable depending on what the price is, but I definitely have to open up my eBay app sometimes and take a look at items that I'm not quite sure about. So hopefully this helped you all when you go out and go picking. So if you have not already, be sure to like and subscribe, drop a comment below, and turn on your notifications so you know when I post my next video. Thanks for watching.